It's a lot
So
more
I think,
simpler than it really is, right?
I mean, it is simple. Just improve yourself, be the best you can be, and have something to offer the opposite sex.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rising Moon's very first podcast episode. Joining me today, I have two very lovely ladies. I have Pebot and Mozzy. They are a part of our Rising Moon staff on our Discord community server. So if you haven't joined today, go ahead and look below. The link is in the description at the bottom. So let's get this started right away with our first topic we'd like to cover is why join an Asian male, white female group?
I joined Discord to play Dungeons and Dragons with some friends, and I was kind of looking on the internet for different type of groups, and I was like, oh, I like Asian men. I'll go ahead and join this Discord. Even though I didn't really know what it was, like it's kind of a community sort of chat where there's like a social community built, you build relationships and whatnot. So that's actually how I got into it. It was just kind of a curiosity, and I knew that I liked Asian men, so I said, well, I'm just going to join this, and yeah, we'll see what this is about.
Even though I've known you for for quite some time now, I never realized it was about mainly Dungeons and Dragons. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm a big nerd. So
Yeah. Do you still do them at all?
Dungeons and Dragons?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I still have groups that I play with. Right now, one of my dungeon masters is on a hiatus though because he's about to move to a different city and he's looking for a job and whatnot. So I haven't been able to play for a bit, but yeah, I still really enjoy playing. It's a lot of fun.
And how about you, Mozzie?
Pretty much the same reason, other than not through Dungeons and Dragons, but I found the link on FedLife on a group about AMWF. Found the link. I knew I was into Asian man. I just let's just join in and chat with as many like-minded people as possible, and that's how I ended up here.
Now, some people might be wondering, what is FetLife? FetLife is like a version of an adult Facebook. For those that don't, for those that don't know what FetLife is, what would you say was your first like incident or event or trigger that attracted you to an Asian male?
I just, I don't know, I just liked them. It wasn't necessarily like any particular trigger. I just remember when I was like in second grade, or I think it was second grade, maybe it was third grade. I don't know. I had a crush on this Chinese boy in my class. I just thought he was really cute and he was really nice. Um, and I don't know. I guess it wasn't a particular trigger. It was just like, I like him, and I was, you can't necessarily help who you like.
Yeah, no, that is true. Like, no, you cannot like this certain individual.
Yeah, no, it was just he was cute. He was polite. He was nice. I kind of have a thing for like dark hair, dark eyes, and darker skin. So
And then from that point on, that's when you knew.
yeah, something like that.
Something like And how about you, Mazi?
I guess you can say that trigger, like the one that truly made me realize, oh shit, I like them a lot. I should actually pursue them. Was anime and Japanese dramas, and then K-pop arrived and K-dramas too. Then it was a downslide from there. But actually, even before that, since I was little, any type of content that I was watching, if there was an Asian character, like a character portrayed by an Asian actor or actress, I would always end up finding them the most attractive. So I guess it was a deep seated attraction even before I felt attracted towards the opposite sex at all.
Tell me about your first, Asian male experience. Obviously, when being of age, right? whether it's like dating or sexual?
I guess for me, it was kind of late to actually have a dating slash sexual experience with an Asian, simply because of society's pressures to like certain things and be a certain way, I would say. But after I had gotten out of a failed relationship slash marriage thing, I kind of was like, I'm kind of tired of just like doing what, like the good girl, like what I'm supposed to do. I just want to do what I want to do. You get to that point in your life where you're like, oh, whatever. So I
Yeah.
actually got on Tinder, and I was just, so basically, I can cuss on this or no?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So my plan, because I was in a sexless marriage, was I wanted to find a hot fuckboy. I didn't really care, what race he was. I just wanted a hot fuckboy. Man with a nice body, good looking face, I really just wanted to have sex.
Yeah.
So I got onto Tinder and I was swiping through a bunch. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Tinder, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're
Yes.
swiping like endlessly, and the problem was that all of these men that I would match with would never pull the trigger. They would never step up to the plate. They would never say, "Oh, let's meet. Let's do this." And I was like, "Please, someone." I mean, how long is it going to take me to meet someone here? So I actually expanded my radius to 100 miles instead of like 25 or 50 or whatever.
Hmm.
And I matched with an Asian man, and he sent me a message right away. And we talked a little bit. We seemed to get along. And he was like, "Oh, well, why are you on this?" And I said, "Well, I mean, I'm being honest here. I really just want to be physical with someone because it's been a long time, and I just want to feel that like attraction, that fire, all that blah blah blah." And he was like, "Okay, well, I mean, we can meet up." And I was like, "Okay." So I talked to him on a Sunday, and he actually made plans. I met him on that Tuesday. Like he actually followed through. And
Wow.
so I was like, "Dang, like he actually stepped up to the plate and he like moved this forward instead of just like endlessly talking online, which is useless. I mean, honestly." Um so then I met up with him at a coffee shop, and we liked each other, and I took him home, and and
And then the magic happened.
then the
The
magic
rest is
happened.
history.
It was really good. I remember the first kiss in the parking lot was fire, like
Oh.
hardcore. Um, I was just like, okay, let's just do it in the back seat. We didn't, okay, we waited, but like in my brain, I was like, yes.
Like I have some standards, right? Now it is
Well,
Tinder, right? It is Tinder, so most
yeah,
people can be like a little bit skeptical because that was that like your first time using a dating app?
yeah. That was, I mean, I had used OkCupid like years before because I had met my ex-husband on OkCupid,
Oh, okay.
but I hadn't been on dating apps in like six years or so.
Hmm.
So I had never been on Tinder.
So were you
That was my
pretty
first
nervous
one.
about using it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super nervous about meeting him in general. I mean, meeting anyone from online can be, a little scary because a lot of times people misrepresent themselves and you don't really know what you're meeting. So I do remember when we first met, and we like looked at each other, and he asked me, "Do you like what you see?" Because I was appraising him like a piece of meat, let's be honest. And I said, "Yeah, I do." And I asked him, "Do you like what you see?" And he said, "Yeah, I do." And then he said, "It's nice when people don't lie, huh?" I said, "Yeah, because then you know exactly what you're getting."
Right.
So it was, I had a lot of fun with him. I had a lot of fun with him, and we played a lot with. I have kind of like a language kink. I like hearing like another language in the bedroom,
Okay.
and he used to speak to me in Japanese in bed, and that was really really hot.
So for all you people listening out there, if you want to get on Pebot's good side, just speak a different language. Whisper it into her ear.
No, no, command me with it.
Oh,
I
command.
mean,
Okay, okay. Commander with it. Don't whisper. Just yell it.
I mean, there can be whispering too. It's all about tone. I
Right.
think one of the things about language in general, even if you don't understand the meaning, the tone has so much meaning in it. And that is basically what speaks to like the inner, like sexual animal in me anyway. It does. So even if I don't understand the words, it's just the tone in which something is said, there's so much that can be implied by it.
Sounds a lot more sexier, doesn't it?
I don't know, English is kind of blah for the bedroom, okay? Like any other language will
We'll do.
better than English.
So was that because a lot of people tend to use Tinder or think of Tinder as as like a just like a hookup app, right? Was
Mhm.
that what you use the main what you mainly use Tinder for?
Well, I used Tinder initially to find someone to just hook up with, but actually things ended up going pretty well with that guy that I hooked up with, and we ended up being in a relationship for about 6 months or so.
Oh,
Um, and then I didn't really meet anyone else off of Tinder that wasn't a liar. Have pictures that are 10 years old, or I mean, they're completely not what they look like. So I didn't really use Tinder after that. I used it for a bit, was disappointed, didn't get anyone else that I was remotely interested in or attracted to.
hmm.
And then I just deleted all of the dating apps because I realized they were just a time sink. And I mean, it's just you spend so much time talking to people, and what you get out of it is generally not real, or kind of just a waste of time. And I figured I had better uses of my time than to spend talking to people that wouldn't even pull the trigger to meet me, or that had to lie about themselves in order to meet someone.
Right. And I think sometimes in certain situations too, after talking with or knowing other Asian males, they usually they're not too sure about the other side of the spectrum of how females are, but like some Asian males will kind of believe that they have it harder more so than females. Did you find it rather hard to find a rather good encounter with another Asian male on Tinder?
There is a whole heck of a lot of Asian males to begin with, so it's not like I had a whole bunch of option. But I generally found that connections with any race in general were difficult. I don't think it was just Asian males. For me, it was very difficult. I mean, I have intellectual standards that someone has to meet before like I feel attracted to them.
Right.
So I think that's part of the problem. A lot of people also are into like poly relationships or open relationships and things like that, and that's not something that I'm really into personally. So it makes it difficult to talk to some guy and he tells me he's married or he's got a girlfriend, and I'm like, well, I mean, that's fine, but like I'm not really into that. So I think for anyone, it's hard to find quality. So if a woman can't see past just like someone's race, like any race can be good looking as far as I'm concerned. Like if you can't see past someone's race and just see like who the person is, and if they're willing to like number one, be honest, number two, actually like move forward with plans that you put into action, don't just leave you hanging, then it's not really worth your time anyway.
Now,
So if
have you
these
ever?
women
Sorry to
Hmm?
interrupt. Have you ever encountered to where it sounded too good to be true?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I don't think I've been catfished before. I mean, the guy that I dated was like too good to be true. Obviously he was, but like at the time, I was like, dang, this is pretty amazing. So no, I don't think that I've ever found someone that was too good to be true. Now I found men who thought they were too good to be true. There was a lot of those. Just because they're good looking, they feel like some girl's just gonna throw themselves at their feet and have sex with them, and that's just not my style. But just because it's a good looking man, he thinks he's like the shit. You find that a lot more with white males, obviously, because they feel like, I don't know, masters of the universe. But any man can feel like a master of the universe. It just depends on his attitude towards other people.
How about you, Mozzie?
Okay, so the very first kind of experience was just a short date with a Chinese guy. There was a heavy linguistic barrier. He didn't speak any English and could speak very little Italian, so we just had to use Google Translate the whole time, basically. Nothing much happened. We just got coffee together. Um, my first sexual experience with an Asian guy, since I don't have any true dating experience in that sense, was with a Vietnamese exchange student. I met him on a dating app. We matched on the like very late at night, and 2 days after he came to my town and we had lunch together, and then we went to a park, and stuff happened naturally. We hadn't discussed about it previously, but it just happened.
On the same day?
But yeah, at the park. um, but we made clear like that we were just friends, that there was no romantic feelings involved, because he was eventually gonna go away after finishing his degree, so can't do long distance relationships. So we just made things clear from the very start. But we saw each other on and off for a year or so. We hung out like very often in the first couple months. Like we went to the seaside, to the river together. We went to the cinema. He was very sweet. Some people might say we looked like a couple, but we, of course, had made things clear from the start. Um, yeah, and then it's a nice memory. He even recently got in touch with me again for an unrelated question. He needed me for some bureaucracy. But yeah, it's a nice first memory.
How did that interaction go? Because you said he it was pretty hard or pretty difficult to communicate. You had to use Google Translate.
I met him on the train, and I helped him because I was sitting next to him, and he had trouble understanding a message that had been delivered on the tally, and so I helped him like with Google Translate. Lucky enough, I think because Chinese has a very simple grammar, Google Translate doesn't have as negative of a result as with other languages. So, but still, would have been better to know each other languages a bit more. And with a Vietnamese guy, he spoke perfect English, so we interacted with that.
Did he talk dirty to you in Chinese as well?
I said we didn't do much with a Chinese guy. It was just coffee. We didn't speak after that. So
Oh no. Okay. Just a little hello bye kind of
you're
thing.
getting confused a bit.
Nice. Now, is there a reason why you haven't necessarily been able to like date much at all in Italy? This is where you're from, right?
Yeah. Uh, like I've only had technically a boyfriend when I was 17 for like 2 months. But it was, if you can even call that a relationship. I think like other, it's more of a personal reason, like bullying and self-esteem and stuff like that. And when I started to actually receive some attention from guys, especially on dating apps, it turned into not wanting monogamous relationships, but I just wanted to have fun. So I ended up, like, when I wanted relationships, I didn't get noticed much. And now that I get noticed, I just want to have fun. So I'm just always on dating apps, and you can rarely find people who talk about relationships on there. It's mostly for hooking up. At most, I can get a friendship with benefits if I'm lucky.
Yeah. Now, is it difficult finding Asian males in Italy?
Depends on the area you're in. Of course, if you're in one of the major big cities like Rome, Milan, Florence, Venice, it's always packed there. Um, there's one city in particular which is called Prato, which is basically the Chinatown of Italy. There's a huge Chinese community there. I'm always saying Chinese because Chinese is the main nationality of Asians present in Italy. There's of course others, but Chinese is the main one. I think it's hard to find them, especially on dating apps. Like I can see a lot around, but there's not many on dating apps. I had to like actually download Asian apps like Tantan, which is Chinese, or Meef, which is Korean.
That's
Um,
interesting.
yeah, but it depends really. I'm not in a very. I'm in a small town. In the one like the biggest town, the city in my region is like 50 kilometers away. I go there by train. It gets complicated after, like, it depends on what you want to do. If you want to just hook up, I don't live on my own, so like you gotta find hotels, or gotta be lucky that they live on their own or stuff like that. So it's a whole bunch of complications.
That's an interesting reason why that you can't find other Asian males, but you have to find them on like a specific app. Was that something that you ever ran into, Peapot, to where there was a lack of Asian males on like Tinder or something like that? You just had to use something else.
Oh, there's not a lot of Asian males where I live, though. I mean, it's pretty obvious based on the demographics of the region that I live in.
Yeah.
So I guess what I get on a dating apps is representative of the population that is close to me.
Hmm.
Um, I never got a dating app specifically for like one race or anything because I mean, I feel like for me, I judge people on an individual basis versus just race. I mean, I have preferences, but it's not enough for me to go out of my way to download like an app specifically for those people. And based on the population density in my area for Asian males, I mean, there would barely be anyone on those apps. I mean, they probably wouldn't even be used because no one would use them because there's not enough population to even make it worth using.
So so it can be really tough for white females to find an Asian male like partner if they were trying to seek it. Is that correct? Is that what you're saying?
I would definitely say so.
So like area would be like a huge factor, like depending on where you live at, right?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I
Of
think area
course, if
is a
you're
factor. I mean, language might be a factor as well. Another thing that might be a factor that I've heard before is that from girls talking to other girls is like, you know, if you see like a cute Asian boy or whatever, and he's surrounded by all his Asian friends and they're not speaking English, it makes it kind of intimidating for you to go up to them and try to talk to them because it's like, well, maybe they don't like to date outside of their culture. There's many cultures or races that don't like to date outside of their culture or their race.
Hmm.
So it is more difficult to have an interracial or intercultural, even interreligious relationship versus just staying with the status quo. Because if you get what you are, then everyone's going to accept it and not question it, versus the other side of the coin.
That's something that I don't really get to see from like a female's perspective, right? Because I'm a guy, so I don't really see it that way. But yeah, that is actually an interesting point that you did bring up. So is it a lot easier to like to filter that out online versus in person?
Simply because people are more willing to talk to other people online. There's no repercussions to their actions because it's not like you're face to face. It's not like rejection is as hard. So I think people are more willing to, you know, either be trolls, be open, or be huge liars online. I mean, you can kind of get the whole gambit of it. But I think in general, versus a situation where you feel like you can't approach versus a situation where you are by yourself on your computer and someone else is by themselves on their computer. So it does make it a little bit more, you know, it facilitates the approaching of someone because it's not like you really know. I mean, you can't really know from the internet. You have to meet someone. For me, you have to meet someone in person to know if there is something worth pursuing.
Mm-hmm.
It can't just be digital. I mean, there's a reason why, you would meet someone and be like, oh, she's cute, he's cute, or whatever the case may be. Like, there has to be a physical attraction as well as a mental and emotional attraction.
Oh yeah, for sure. When choosing an Asian male partner, what do you find most appealing?
So for me, I I like men who are intelligent, who are self-sufficient, that don't require their mommy for everything that they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that generally based on at least my experiences, compared to Hispanic men, which was another big dating pool that I have dipped into several times, that Asian men are much more independent and able to take care of themselves. Now, obviously, that's not something that's across the board because there are outliers everywhere. But I did find that attractive. Um, so I think that would be definitely one of the things, other than education, intelligence, like athletic ability. I generally like a lean structure on a male. Asians, because they're generally like a medium or a smaller build frame, that's appealing to me versus someone who's like thicker. Like European males that are like big and bulky, I'm like, I'm not really into that sort of physique. But I do have always liked the dark hair, the dark eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and the darker skin. That's always been it's always been a thing with me. Hence the Hispanic men. But Hispanic culture is very female oppressive as well. Asian culture is not. At least from what I have seen, it seems like a lot of times um, the way that I've been treated by Asian males is that they respect my opinion and they respect um my freedom. I can be free. I can do what I want to do. And I don't know if that's like, first generation male thoughts and being in the United States or if that's something, culturally around. I haven't really dated an Asian male that isn't from like that wasn't like born here or came when he was very young.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be different as well based on the cultural expectations in another country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um. Like so. Yeah, because like as far as like masculinity goes for Asian males, 'cause a lot of times Asian males are stereotyped as being more feminine, right? Or don't have that masculine look. Was that something that ever like crossed your mind at all?
For me, not really. I mean, I think that there are men that don't have a masculine look in every race. So it's not just like, oh, Asians look feminine. That wasn't really a thing for me. The way someone carries themselves, the way that someone acts, the way that someone can take charge of a situation speaks volumes more than, oh my God, can you grow facial hair? Like, why this? Why is that like a sign of true masculinity? Because I don't think that it is.
Right. But I feel a lot of Asian males try to strive for that masculinity,
How
or
so?
Don't.
how so?
Please don't.
Please don't. Just be yourself,
Well,
right?
it's like if
Yeah.
anyone comes off as too forceful or too like aggressive or too powerful, like I'm not gonna like that. Like there's a huge subset of men who feel like they deserve certain things just because they're men. And I mean, I've seen it even in the Asian male population as well, where they whine and they complain, but they have it so much harder. And you know what? If you like yourself, you respect yourself, if you basically make yourself a valuable human being that other people want to be around. If you want to be around yourself, then other people are going to be around you. If you want to be around other people to escape yourself, no one's going to want to be around you. It doesn't matter what race you are, it's just the way that it is. And I feel like a lot of people will get into that victim mentality because they have nothing to offer. So, honestly, if a man has nothing to offer me, then why am I going to consider him, whatever he is?
Yeah. It's a lot more
I think
simpler than it really is, right?
I mean, it is simple. Just improve yourself, be the best you can be, and have something to offer the opposite sex. I feel like that's an important thing. And I think that sometimes men get that toxic masculinity that they feel like, oh, women are this and I'm entitled to that. And it's just like, it's crazy. But you see that amongst all races and cultures that they feel like they should have rights to be with a woman or whatever the case may be. I mean, I've even seen it on some of the servers on Discord that are Asian male servers, and those type of people are toxic. And I don't care how good looking they are. That's like off my list. Like, no woman is going to want to be treated like property or a piece of garbage or less than a man. I mean, women want to be, you want to be an equal to your partner. You want to have a mutuality there. You want to both want each other, and you both have to communicate, and you both have to offer things to the relationship. You can't just like, oh, okay, I'm a man and I'm masculine. Here I am, and I deserve everything. So just give it to me, and I'm gonna sit here and just do nothing. Like that's just not the way that things work.
Yeah, like what I said, don't try to be like, please. I mean, at least for me, one of the physical reasons I'm very attracted by um Asian guys. I guess it's their more usual absence of body and facial hair, and maybe often softer um, face features. Maybe that's one thing. I know I'm not attracted by body hair. I'm sure of that. I don't like it. So just the fact that not having body or facial hair makes you less of a man is utter BS. Um, like I know even in many Asian cultures, yeah, there's still the the concept of the man of the family that leads everything, and you gotta look a certain way, but don't. It's 2021. Just let's be who we want to be, and there's no need to be someone else just to look a certain way just because society tells you to. Just be who the f you want to be, and you'll find someone who's attracted by that. um and to be perfectly honest, what Pebot was saying, yeah, that it's not a certain body shape or a certain other physical things that make you masculine. One of the most masculine and dominating Asian guys that I've been with was completely hairless, shorter than me, had a very soft face features, but oh my god, was he a great dom in bed. So it's not about facial hair or body shape. It's
Confidence,
about how you behave.
What did you say,
yeah,
Peapot?
confidence is a big thing. That's probably why he
Yes.
probably had confidence, and he was like, "I'm gonna please you," and he did.
There was confidence, there was a domineering behavior, but there was also respect for me and for
Mhm,
my decisions and for my choices and for my tastes. And
mhm.
if that's not attractive and masculine and everything, I don't know what is.
Mhm.
Do you think Asian males feel that if they're not confident, they're just automatically submissive?
I think that anyone can probably feel like that, but I
Yeah,
think
it's
because
not
of
just
the
about Asian men.
emasculation of Asian males and at least in Western culture, because definitely they have been emasculated, certainly in Hollywood and things of that nature. Um, so yeah, I do feel that, but any man that is not confident, in my opinion, it doesn't matter like his race, it is a turnoff. I mean, yes, we all have our insecurities. There are certain things that we're not confident about, but there are certain things that you should know about yourself, and if you want something, you should be able to go out and get it. you reach for it.
I mean, even if, like, I'm always bringing up the sexual side, but there's confidence even in being submissive. So, as long as you're sure of what you want to be, you can be dumb, you can be sub, you can be switch, you can be whatever the fuck you want. Just be confident about it. Don't be afraid to show it.
Now, what if
Mhm.
what if someone, an Asian male, is just not sure how to build confidence to approach a female? Like, if you encountered an Asian male that seemed to like lack confidence, do you just automatically just let it go, or what?
Honestly, I do because it's not my responsibility for someone to find themselves and fix themselves. You have to be willing to take a chance on things, and if you're not willing, then you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities in your life. Unfortunately, that's a lesson that's sometimes hard learned, but it is only a lesson that you can learn yourself. No one can teach it to you. So thinking that you're going to fix someone or help someone see the light or whatever, that's garbage. You're never going to be able to do that. Everyone has to be able to make their own decisions. And so if someone doesn't have that confidence, there's nothing you can do. That's all 100% on them. And honestly, like I said, confidence is sexy. That's a turn on for me. So if someone isn't confident, I'm less likely to want to have anything to do with them in a romantic sense. Maybe I can be friends with them, but it does put them in the friend zone, so to speak, pretty quickly.
If there's no confidence but there's a willingness to learn, it's better. Like, I've had many experience with inexperienced guys. They were a bit
Talking about,
tentative, they weren't sure about
oh,
stuff, but if I can see that they're there, they want to learn, they're trying
I
to
think
like
I
pay
think Woodrow
attention
was
and
talking
stuff.
about just confidence in approaching you, like confidence in themselves. Not, I understand if someone doesn't have sexual experience, they're not going to be confident, but if they are willing to learn, I 100% agree with you, Mozzy, that like that's not an issue for me. I don't care if they don't have a bunch of sexual experience because if they are open to criticism and they're willing to learn, that speaks volumes. Because if a man comes in thinking, I know how to please you. I'm so good with all the women, blah, 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 blah. And then they come in there and they're like the worst lay you've ever had. Like,
Ew.
please let me know how I can make this better.
Yeah.
I want to please you. I don't know your body. You know your body. Tell me what feels good. Like, that is much more attractive. But you know what? I think men need more confidence to be able to ask a woman because he knows that he's not good versus some guy who thinks, oh yeah, I'm the best because every girl's told me that I'm the best. And I'm like, really?
Yes,
Every girl has told
guys
you the
of
best
every
because they're all
please,
different. All
please,
women
guys
are
of
different.
every race, guys of every race, please, you can be the most experienced man in the world. Each lady is different.
Yeah, we're
Don't
all different.
assume, please.
Yeah, because essentially males would tend to, those that don't have that experience, right, tend to feel that the people with more experience have a higher, like, having like an advantage in a playing field. When in reality, it really doesn't, right? Like, or it doesn't matter, right?
I've had lovers
Doesn't
that
matter.
were like very minimally experienced that were much better than lovers I had that were very experienced.
Hmm.
Yep, can confirm.
So how was your encounter with someone that was nervous in the beginning, like didn't look as confident, but they tried. Like, what was like? How was that like experience or that encounter?
Because feedback all the time. They're always asking for feedback. And so maybe the first time they do it, it's not so good. But they ask you, how could I make it better? I need feedback. And you just tell them, like, try doing it like this. And then they turn around and do it again. And you're like, that was better. And then they ask again, how can I make it better? And if you have a lover that's like that, that can be the best lover you can ever have. Because it's yeah, you might not be confident initially, but if you give them that feedback, and they make those changes and they improve, then they're going to get better, and then they're going to get confident pretty quickly, I would say, because you're encouraging them, not by telling them, okay, we're done here. You're saying, if you're asking me, I'm going to tell you, this is how you can make it better. And they're going to make it better, and then you're going to want it again. And it's just going to, I mean, it builds on itself. Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
I'm the laziest ever, but even I know there's gotta be work on both sides
Oh yeah,
to
no,
have
you
fun
only
together.
put in the work that you get. So like if someone is lazy with me, they're not gonna get anything from me. Like you think I'm gonna expend energy on you when you're not expending energy on me? That's not gonna happen. That's like a no.
What are some of the challenges that you face regarding Asian males?
Uh, not. I mean, since I'm not much in the dating scene, I guess I'm not encountering as much of the challenges that I would be. It's mostly just because though I'm very upfront about my preferences with my friends, um, so mostly it's just questions and curiosity about stereotypes and other aspect, like are they, or like how are they, is it true about size and stuff like that. I just like truthfully answer all those questions, and I don't have any much troubles with that. I do remember when I on my first meeting with the Vietnamese guy, on our way back to the train station, we were holding hands the whole time. And I swear every person that we encountered on the way was staring at us. To be fair, my town isn't that big, so there's gonna be people who feel weirded out by the sight, maybe first time they see an AMWF couple, but I didn't mind that much. But other than usual curiosity and some not so nice questions that I don't have any problem answering, I don't have much problems.
It's a little different. Because I have dated Asian men, I've dated men that are not white as well. I've dated like uh like let's say like what people consider traditional Asians. I've dated Indian males as well. So they're both under the Asian category, right?
Right, right.
Yeah.
So it depends on a few factors. I think number one, how open your families are, because I think that can be a major issue on both sides. Like, is your family racist? Like, either on the Asian side or on the white side. Simply because, like I said, people tend to stay within their own kind. Not only do you have like the family, but you also do have society, and society is also racist against people of multiple ethnicities being together. Like you were saying, Mozzie, walking in the train station, you got looks. I would get looks when I'd be walking with one of these guys holding their hands. Like it was just like, oh, they're together. Like, how could that be a thing? Like, everyone assumes that you wouldn't be with, let's say, an Asian male simply because, like, oh, you're white or you're cute or whatever the case may be. But I think that one of the bigger barriers, in my opinion, is family, because family is super important to a lot of people, including me. And I think in general, in Asian culture, family is very important as well. So if your family tells you, well, you need to marry a Chinese girl or a Korean girl or a Japanese girl, whatever the case may be, you're going to have that in your mind that that's what your family wants you to do. And unless you do that, your family's not going to be happy. So it limits your choices and it makes it difficult because it constrains your relationship with your family. So I think family is a huge, huge, huge thing. And I think because of that, maybe a lot of men avoid bringing you to their family because they don't want to have that sort of issue. But the problem with that is if you're ever going to have like an intimate relationship, if you're ever going to have like a lasting relationship, you have to be integrated into the family. And if you wait for a
Yeah.
long time and then they don't accept you, then that's when a lot of stuff can go down. So I think that families are probably the biggest deterrent for interracial or intercultural or interreligious people to actually be together.
Would you say that's more prominent, more so, here in the West, or it could just literally anywhere?
I mean, I think it could be literally anywhere, but the thing is, there's more cultures meshed over here in the West, so you have a higher probability of cultures coming together. I think that here also people might question it a little bit more. Like they might be willing to like not follow their family as much as let's say it happened in another place because the cultural values of those places are more ingrained because they're more of a similar type of people versus like the United States because there's more of a mix. That doesn't mean that people aren't racist and that people still don't want people to be together in a particular way, but it does mean that there is more openness and you do see how other people make it work. Whereas, like Mozzy's in Italy, I think there's less of that tolerance simply because, there's more Italian, that's us and it's them. Whereas in the US, it can be kind of us, like all of us, even though there is still that systemic racism that's in place. But like, let's say I was in Asia and I was dating an Asian guy in whatever country, and I met his family would be probably like, well, you should be dating an Asian woman. And there's a lot of Asians to choose from. So why are you dating this white girl? And that would be, I feel like, easier for them to drop you like that because it's like, well, my parents are right. My family's right. Like it's you want to make your family happy because I know a lot of at least from the Asian males that I know and that I have dated, like making your family happy, taking care of your family, keeping like your family proud of you is a huge thing because that's what's ingrained in you. You're like worthless unless you give your family what they want. Like that's what it seems to be. And it's not right, but it is a thing that if you've been hearing it since childhood, that you're worthless and you basically need to do these things to be like the good son, you're going to want to do those things just because psychologically it's already in you.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. Rising Moon will continue to bring more AMWF content, and I hope that you enjoy them.